Hello, knife fanatics. It's Pocket Knife Collector, and I have a package here today from CKW, that's Chicago Knife Works. You'll notice that this shipped from Marion, Virginia, which is not in Chicago, not even in the same state as Chicago, but whatever. Maybe that's just where their warehouse is or something. I don't know. Chicago Knife Works is an interesting company. You know, they don't get as much attention as some of the other big knife retailers like Blade HQ and Knife Center. They have a lot of inventory online, and sometimes they have things that other people don't have in stock. Sometimes they have things at lower prices than you find elsewhere. I haven't had any bad experiences with them yet. I can't really endorse them because I haven't had a lot of experience with them either. I've ordered a few things from them and it's been okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is with Chicago Knife Works, why it is that they don't have the same sort of footprint in the knife community as some of the other knife retailers. If you have thoughts or have experience with Chicago Knife Works and you want to share it in the comments section, I'd be curious to hear what other people have to say. I ordered a couple things from Chicago Knife Works. I think I know what's in this box, but I could be wrong. I'm going to open it up today with the Knife Center exclusive version of the Spyderco Capara. This is with S90V blade steel instead of the S30V of the standard production model. I'm making this video in June of 2025, and at the moment, this knife is still available from Knife Center, but it won't be available forever. Yeah, so let's go ahead and open this up. Yeah, okay. So this is what I thought it was. It's from Fox Knives. This is the Original Gangster, and it's interesting. This is made in Italy, right? Fox is based in Maniago, Italy, like several other Italian knife makers, and the text on this box is in Italian. The sort of description of this, right? Verde, green. This is the Original Gangster in MagnaCut, stonewashed with micarta. Okay. And it is a Bob Terzuola design. Okay, we need to make another cut here, it looks like. Okay. Pouch within a pouch. Box within a box, within a box, within a pouch, within a pouch. Okay. Yeah, so this is the green micarta version of the Fox Original Gangster, which has a stonewashed micarta blade in CPM MagnaCut. And this is made in Maniago, Italy. This is the latest version of the Original Gangster. There have been a few versions of this. There was a special edition version that was released around December of 2024 that is intentionally only available in a short supply. And those had carbon fiber handle scales. The original two models were one in black micarta, which I have, which is this one, with a satin finished blade instead of the stonewash blade. And then there's another version with titanium handle scales, which I don't have, which costs a little bit more, but not a lot more than the micarta versions. This is a production version of Bob Terzuola's ATCF, which is a custom knife design that he has been making for a long time. If you're not familiar with Robert Terzuola, he is often credited as being the originator or the godfather of the folding tactical knife. He's been around for a long time. He's from Brooklyn, New York, lived in Central America and started making knives there. He went to New York University and studied jewelry making, I believe, and those skills transferred over into knife making. He has written a book, and he's also done collaborations with lots of knife companies. He was the first person to collaborate with Spyderco. Spyderco, of course, is the first company to put pocket clips on a production model knife. Bob Terzuola was doing that on his custom knives before that. So yeah, his collaboration with Spyderco was the Starmate. And interestingly, the Starmate is coming back for a sprint run, probably sometime this year, with a 20 CV blade. The Starmate is similar to the ATCF, except it's got a spider hole as the deployment method instead of the thumb disc that we see here. And then these knives, this version of the ATCF is also a flipper, which the Starmate is not. So yeah, he's collaborated with Spyderco, he's collaborated with through Drop, or Mass Drop. He's got lots of collaborations with Fox Knives. This is the latest of them. He's got collaborations with MKM and Boker and BPS and Microtech and ProTech. Right? A lot of you may be familiar with the ProTech automatic version of the ATCF. I have one of those here. Let's see. Yeah, so this is the Blade HQ exclusive version of the Terzola ATCF ProTech. So the first ProTech ATCFs had a fancier pocket clip than this, which was more characteristic of what you would see on Terzola knives. Milled pocket clip, right? This version, I think, was the first one that just had ProTech's standard folded pocket clip, which is a deeper carry than the milled pocket clips, but it's kind of less sophisticated or less, certainly less expensive. This is also with a MagnaCut blade, and there's Robert Terzuola's. Oh, sorry, no, this is CPM S45 VN blade. The ProTech automatics, a lot of the Terzola model ProTechs do have MagnaCut blade. These ones, the Blade HQ exclusive ones, were in CPM S45. And then there are some available now that are less expensive and that have a 154 cm blade and that don't have the pattern on the aluminum handle. Just a matte finished aluminum handle, and I think black or blue or green. They've got a few different color options now for those less expensive ones in 154 cm, and then periodically they release another MagnaCut version with a milled pocket clip and kind of fancier details, maybe a jeweled button or like a button with inlay or something like that. Maybe different handle materials. They've had them in some that are really fancy, really premium handle materials, and those are quite expensive. But I think the cheapest list price you're going to see on a ATCF automatic from ProTech is going to be a little over $200. Then they go up to in the 800s. This is 3.5 inches, I believe. The original Gangster was listed as 3.5 inches, but I think it's actually a little bigger. Seems like it. The least expensive way you can get into a Bob Terzuola folder that has, any of this lineage in it is in the ATCF Lite, which is just branded Terzola. And these have G10 handles, Nitro V blades, just a flipper for opening, no thumb disc. And you can see it's got some of those same lines. It's smaller, decent little everyday carry knife. They've got those at Blade HQ. They've got them at Chicago Knife Works. The prices on those vary a little bit, but they're always pretty reasonable. They're well under $100, and they come in lots of different color combos. Here's one with natural G10, or what's sometimes called jade G10, undyed G10. Has a greenish look to it. Also, recently, Mr. Terzola did a collaboration with Boker. This is the Boker Plus TAC Master, which I think also has a Nitro V blade, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Nitro V. Green micarta contoured handle scales, liner lock, milled pocket clip, no visible hardware on the pocket clip, which is something you see on a lot of Terzola's designs. I guess he likes that. Compound grind, and a Tonto point. And this is big. It's a big knife, right? And that is reasonably priced as well. Those go for, I think, 125-ish right now. Fox Knives Original Gangster is considerably more expensive. As you saw, I got this one from Chicago Knife Works, and I got it at a lower price than I have seen this knife listed anywhere else. Bob has some of these sometimes listed on his website. I think most of them are out of stock at the moment. Terzola.net is his website, and when I looked recently, he had the titanium handled version of this knife available for order on his website. He did not have the green one yet. I think the MSRP on them is somewhere around $300 or something like that. I didn't pay that much for mine, but it wasn't a cheap knife either. Yeah, so I've talked about this one before, and you can find that video on my channel. It's going to be similar, right? It's a liner lock, titanium hardware, titanium pocket clip. This is more of a rough textured micarta. The micarta on the black one is very smooth. And then, of course, the blade here is a different finish as well. I believe this is a titanium thumb disc. It's got a saber height flat grind on the blade, and then a swedge and a drop point. It's on ball bearings. Interestingly, it's asymmetrical micarta plus the liner on that clip side. I've got a thumb ramp. That's also characteristic of the ATCF. This feels like a very well sorted knife. I have never owned a custom ATCF. I probably ought to get one at some point. I've certainly spent enough on production ATCFs that, if you add up what I've spent, it's equivalent to what it would cost to get a custom one. Bob is still active. He's still making knives. And you can follow him on social media. He's got an Instagram account, and his wife is very active on social media as well. She's got a podcast called The Knife Wife. I've got a bunch more Terzola designs, and I have gotten them all out before. I've got a few new things. Oh, what the heck. Let's go ahead and look at some more Terzola while I've Well, I've got this stuff handy. I'll put away a few of these. I'll put away these ATCF lights. Okay, so a lot of you might be familiar with the MKM collaborations that Terzola has done. This is the clap, right? The Terzola clap, also made in Italy. Very nicely constructed, right? We've got titanium, anodized titanium pocket clip, ring around the pivot. We've got a titanium bolster, M390 blade steel on this. Compound grind again, like the Boker, right? Drop point, harpoon tip this time, right? There's a nail pull there. You can remove the flipper tab, right? Liner lock and crown spine, right? The Italians like to do this a lot of times. Put a nicely rounded edge on that. With that sort of stepped pattern in the handle that you see on many of Bob's designs. This one has got micarta handle scales. Here's one with JG10, otherwise same knife. Okay. A little smaller, looks like 3¼ inches-ish on the blade there. Another MKM collaboration is the Maximo. This version with the burgundy micarta handle scale was an SMKW, Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusive. Smoky Mountain Knife Works also has an exclusive right now of this knife, the Maximo, with red, I think it's lava flow fat carbon, if I remember correctly, handle scale. This is also M390, a little bit more substantial blade in terms of the size across, from top to bottom. Not a compound grind on this one. This has got a glass breaker on the end and a folded clip, and it's a frame lock instead of a liner lock. And actually, I prefer the liner lock. This frame lock is a little stiff. It's a relatively small relief area here. I mean, it's definitely, it's certainly usable, but it's not my favorite action. Bob has done a lot of stuff with Fox Knives, right? In addition to these original Gangster models, he's had a lot of other models. This one is called the Sicilian. I think this was just recently discontinued, so you might still be able to find it. Got a wire pocket clip. Really nice micarta scales on this. B-cut steel. I don't have very many knives in B-cut steel. Drop point, right? There are also versions with these leather pocket clips and not pocket clips, leather pouches, leather sheaths, and no pocket clip. Bocote wood and Zeracote. I might be pronouncing those wrong. These have got a thumb disc opener. They've got that stepped area in the handle there. This one's got a different tip. Right? Kind of an interesting clip point sort of thing, almost. This one I think is more familiar. Yeah, drop point. Okay. And then there was also a blacked out version of that knife, basically, right, from Fox. That same unusual tip. This is N690 CO with G10 handle scales. Okay. And then he's done collaborations with Drop, or Mass Drop, which were OEM'd by Weed. Right? So they had their version of the ATCF design. Right. This is S35 VN blade steel. G10 handles. I've got, that's smaller, considerably smaller. There was they did these in 2 sizes, but I didn't get the larger size. There's one with a green handle scale, also with mass drop. Bob did the Cyrus, and this is a trailing point, Persian knife. This one has got micarta handle scales. There's also a version of this which I have, but not handy, that has a carbon fiber, marbled carbon fiber handle scale and polished or satin finished blade instead of the tumbled, the stonewashed blade. But yeah, that one's different than everything else. As you can tell, I like this guy's work. Okay, so obviously, this is not a review, it's just an unboxing and comparison video. I guess, maybe I should show you how big this ATCF is in comparison to some things that are more familiar, rather than just showing you a bunch of knives by the same designer. All right, so how big is this thing? Let's give you some points of reference here. Here is a big knife that some of you might have. This is the Adira from Benchmade. About the same total length and blade to handle ratio. That's also in MagnaCut, and these knives are similarly priced. Obviously, if your purpose in buying the Adira, which is part of Benchmade's water line of knives, if your purpose is to use it in the water, it makes more sense to go with that than to go with the ATCF. The blade won't rust on this, but the micarta handle scales are not really designed for constant exposure to water and stuff. You'd be okay, in the water, but I think this is really purpose built for being an aquatic use knife. But yeah, similar size, similar price. Something to think about. A lot of you are Spyderco users, so here is a PM2, paramilitary 2, right, and a pair 3 for size reference. The ATCF, the original Gangster, is similar handle length. It's got a little more reach on the blade, different blade shape, obviously, and different grind, right? You're going to get a full flat grind with the paramilitary 2, which is going to be more efficient for slicing and pushing through materials like cardboard. But, this is tactical as in the name. It's got a different intent. A lot of people are familiar with the Rat 1 and the Rat 2 from Ontario for size reference. Pretty similar to the Rat 1 in terms of handle length, blade length, overall length, blade to handle ratio. Yeah, pretty comparable in terms of size. Obviously, it's more premium materials. These are both liner locks. You can get the Ontario Rat 1 now with better steel than these AUS 8 versions that I've got here. They make versions of it in CPMS 35VN now. There's D2 versions, but bug out, that's the full-size bug out. Smaller, lighter than the ATCF. Here's a Griptilian. ATCF has a little more reach, a little more handle real estate. 940 Osborne and the 945 Mini Osborne. Yeah, so you can see that ATCF is a pretty substantial knife. That original Gangster, like the Osborne, it does have a saber height grind on it. Not to knock the Osborne, but the original Gangster outclasses it. I hope that this has been interesting and useful to you if you're thinking about picking up one of these knives. Like I said, you can look on Bob's website or lamnia.com. Other retailers probably have it eventually. I think I prefer this blade finish, the stonewash blade finish, to the satin finish, right, which is a lot more reflective. Cool. If you want to see more knives, subscribe to my channel. I've got a bunch, and I will share them all. Thanks. Bye-bye.